Hi, Susan here. Okay, how I crack the code for being olive complected skin and what to wear using a little bit of the tools I have available, and that's what's next. All right, guys, I'm going to get right to it, but I want to premise this video by saying in the beginning of my career as a fashion designer, I had a huge pet peeve about people, and it was a big trend, learning your colors and whether you're a warm or a cold or a undertone or overtone, and it used to drive me crazy. Why? Because as a fashion designer, what I believe then, I still believe today, that you can pretty much wear whatever you want if it's proportioned to you properly. And that goes with color as well. But I'm getting older and I want to know exactly what are the right colors for this craziness of the olive complected skin tones. There's a lot of us out there. It's complicated and it's not cut and dry. It doesn't fit in most of the categories that you will see. Want to crack this open and explain it to you, and let's get started. I'm going to start first by showing you basic color theory with the color wheel, and then we're going to go right through the process. Follow me through this all the way to the end, guys. All right. Okay, so this is a little pocket color wheel just to teach you the basics of the color theory or the color wheel itself. You can pick this up almost anywhere. I'll put a link below if you want to get it on Amazon. Let's get started with the primary colors. Primary colors are blue, red, and yellow. They are of themselves. They cannot be made by mixing any other color. Secondary colors are mixing two primary colors together to get the secondary color. So you mix blue with red, you get violet. You mix blue with yellow, you get green. You mix yellow with red, you get orange. Secondary colors. Tertiary colors are using one primary color with an adjacent secondary color, and then you get that other color. So the red with the orange makes the red orange. Then we have the yellow with the orange makes the yellow orange. The yellow with the green makes a yellow green. Then we have green with blue makes blue green. Blue with violet makes blue violet. And violet with red makes red violet. Those are tertiary colors. Now to show you just on the color wheel the warm side and the cool side. I'm going to put my pen like this, and theoretically all the colors on this side would be considered warm colors. All the colors on this side would be considered cool colors. So the reds, the oranges, the yellows, and then some greens, whereas the violets and the blues and the greens are the cool colors. Okay, color can be described by three different characteristics: hue, value, intensity. Hue is the name of the individual color. It is the color themselves. Value is relative to the lightness and darkness of the color using the gray tones. And here are the gray tones that you would have to mix with any one of the colors to get the value. Tint is the color plus white. So if I take blue, for instance, and I turn my little color wheel, adding white to that blue, I get light blue. Tone is a color plus gray. So if I take any of these colors, I would have to add a variation of gray to it to get the tone. Shade is a color plus black. So if I take the blue again, and I add black to it, which is right here, you will then get this deeper blue. And neutral grays are our balance, combinations of white and black to make gray. I'm only going to talk about this part of the color wheel just to give you the basics to understand. If you want something further, please let me know in the description box below, and I'll make a video on that. Now let's get to what is olive skin. It is sort of a mystery skin color. It refers to the browns, the tans, the yellows, and green and golden tones. That's unique and magical. Olive skin in the spectrum of skin colors, referring to the Fitz Patrick's scale of skin is a pigment that is usually type 3, 4, and 5 range in the beiges and tans. Olive complected skin, and it has yellow undertones, green undertones, and golden undertones. The undertone is what's underneath the skin itself. I'm going to show you my veins here, okay? You can either be warm, cool, neutral, or completely olive, guys. So warm is a skin color with a tint of yellow and peach, and you can probably wear gold jewelry the best. Cool skin colors have a tinge of blues and pinks to the complexion, and your veins will appear purple or blue. Neutral emphasizes the pinks and blues in your skin, and it's awkward because the veins appear blue or green. Neutral undertones, but there are some of us who have an olive undertone. It's a combination of all the undertones I just talked about, as well as green. People with this natural undertone would have skin appearing kind of grayish. So if you're olive colored, your veins cannot be specifically viewed as green or blue. You can wear both gold and silver jewelry equally well. There is a green tint to your skin. You tan more easily, and foundation usually looks yellow or pinkish to your skin. So olive skin comes from different parts of the world: Middle Eastern, Mediterranean, Africa, Latin America, as well as even Europe, as far as France and Italy and Asia. This is skin tones that you are born with. This is not something you can get in a tanning salon, but it is something that you inherit or you are born with. And it usually is oily skin, which is pros and cons. Pros that you wrinkle less frequently, but cons is that you're oily, and that can be a problem as well. So let's get into the color ranges of it and how I conquered it as far as color goes. So I also downloaded an app to check out my skin tone exactly, to have it analyzed, so to speak. And when they analyzed it, I'll put the link below of the app that I actually use. I think it's Color Picker for my Apple phone. And it is predominantly red. And then there's lots of green, and then a smaller amount of blue. And this is where it gets tricky. And this is where, when I was doing my skin tone as far as my foundation, I was always combating the yellows and the greens. And to get rid of that, I always was trying to get what's called like an aquamarine blue to just combat it or counteract the green and yellow undertones of my skin. But as far as dress goes, now the rule of thumb would be that if you are predominantly red, you don't want to go opposite on the color wheel. But what if you're predominantly red and you're also predominantly green? What do? That's where it gets tricky, and that's where even hair color can come into play. I've had hair color that was almost like a blondish color. I always avoided red in my hair because I always had too much red. So when I had my hair dyed, I would either use a neutral tone or a golden tone to actually combat the amount of red that I have in my hair itself, as well as my skin. The good thing to do is, if you are in the red tones, to go to the adjacent colors that are on the color wheel, as you can see as well. So the violets and the blue violets and the cool colors. And if you're in the green, I stayed away from, the yellow greens or those kind of muted mustardy colors. That always did not work well with my olive skin. Why? Because it's too close to my olive skin. The best thing I would tell you to do is get near a light, put colors next to your neck and your face, because if your face, obviously you're going to be using foundation, so your neck most likely will give you a truer representation of what colors will work for you. So I can do any of the purples. I can do, you know, anything closer. I used to, when I had my hair was darker, I can do the shocking pink. I can do even some softer pinks. It kind of brought it out, but you can see that even when I get lighter, it kind of makes my face almost look a little bit more yellow. Or if I just do these olives, as you can see, it's not a good thing as well, because it just brings out more of the olive that I have in my skin, the greens. You want to get richer tones with your olive skin. You don't want it to have muted tones unless you're a light olive skin. Then you're able to do those light pastel-y yellows, blues, and some pastel-y pinks, and even grays. I was able to wear a lot of the grays when my hair was more golden blonde, when it was lighter colored blonde. I was able to wear grays beautifully. There was a nice contrast between the grays and the lighter blonde. As my hair is now darker, I still have to be very careful with the greens. Even though if I get a blue green, if I get something that has more blue in it, I'm able to wear it. If the green is too yellowish, as you can see here, that doesn't do as well for my skin. One color I've noticed, and I've seen it too in the Pantone recommendations for olive skin, are the wine colors. What happens, my skin, my cheeks start to look more rosy, my complexion doesn't look quite as greenish, and is complementary even to my hair color and my eye color. The browns and the yellows have always been kind of tricky. You can but because of, like I said, you can combat some of this and still get away with wearing some of these colors if you rev up your makeup, so to speak, put more pinks in your skin tones, in your foundation, as well as your rouge and maybe eye color. Otherwise, those will be hard colors to wear. But most likely, stay away from the things that bring out the green or bring out the yellow that's in your skin, because that is the worst thing you can do for olive skin. So even the Valentino red, which this will be the closest I would say to the Valentino red that looks good with either brunettes or blonde, is that neutral shade that most people can get away with. Even though I know I have a lot of red in my skin, I can still get away with that color. And this is the best. When you see this, I actually look pinkish. My skin is more neutral. It doesn't look too much of one particular color. It looks healthy and fresh and pinkish. And that's what I've tried to achieve. So this is almost the best color to wear for the medium to dark olive skin. So jewel tones, bright tones are usually better for olive skin unless you're a light olive skin, or placid blues and softer greens you can get away with. But because you're olive undertone as well as olive skin, I'm able to wear both black and white well. It does actually showcase my skin more. It does make it prominent, especially if I'm wearing white. It does show that I look darker, but it's a richer color if you don't mind. Recapping with the color wheel, if I'm predominantly red, I really don't want to wear red all the time, because that is going to be harder and make me look even more reddish. So what I want to do is combat it by adding more of the blue tones, which is what I'm lacking. I'm least in the blue family, but avoiding things that are too green. The yellows and orange are because the red that you might want, as far as the reds and the oranges, could possibly make you look even more orange and more red, if that makes sense. So the bluer you get with your red family, is easier to wear with a dark to medium olive skin. The greens, you want to avoid the yellowish greens and the mustards and the avocados and those type of colors. They're a little bit harder to wear, but like I said, intensity could change that. Just adding black to one of the colors can give it more of an intense hue that you can actually possibly wear. So in retrospect, I still believe you can wear most colors, especially if you are olive skin and especially if your undertone is olive as well. It gives you a broader range of colors to be able to wear. You can then see what works better for yourself if you want to really enhance your complexion or enhance a certain look that you're trying to portray. So we're lucky with the olive skin to have the ability to be able to wear the spectrum of colors because we divide our colors with the color wheel. If that makes sense, I hope. So give me in the comments and let me know if you're olive skin and how you were able to navigate it and what you were able to do to find out your true best color. Thank you for watching. It's a thumbs up. Thank you for being on board. Subscribe if you haven't already. Follow me on Instagram. I put daily posts there. You know exactly what I'm doing on a daily basis on Instagram. And I'll see you next time. Thank you. Bye-bye.